So how was your day?
My day was it was interesting actually. It I didn't go to my film class because my professor like wasn't there.
Wait, you're in a film class?
Yeah. For my creative gen ed fulfillment. Rachel and I are in the same one, 9 to 12 on Tuesday mornings. It's
9 to
wacky.
12?
It's wacky, it's
That's
so
gross.
wacky. But our professor, I feel so bad. Like her boyfriend got in a really bad car crash. So
Oh
she couldn't come to
no.
class this week and she was like, I'll get you a sub or we'll do it over Zoom. And then didn't say anything else. So we both just like didn't go because we were like, I don't want to sit there for 3 hours with a sub. And then I was at my next, and then I had this thing due today that I like did all of today before class. And then I went to my next class. And so we were watching a movie in this class, and there's like this beeping noise that starts going off. And people are like, is that in the building? And my professor was like, no, no, that's definitely in the movie. And so someone goes and is like, I'm just gonna check. He opens the door and there's everyone's just rushing out. It's the fire alarm. And there was a fire in Kathy today. So we all go outside and
It
like
was
I
a
was like,
real fire?
are we yeah, but I don't know like what actually happened or like what the damage was. Didn't see anything. And I was like, are we going back to class? And then I see my professor walking away, like walking home. So I was like, I guess not. And then I had another class like after that that I just didn't go to because I was like, well, there was a fire, so I'm gonna go home.
Why didn't the professor just pause the movie to see if the beeping continued?
You know, many questions.
That's what I do when there's like bird noises in like movies. And I'm like, is that from outside or the TV?
It's really a mystery. Wait,
That is
before we go any further, I'm gonna get a book.
okay.
You can entertain the guests.
Okay, I'm gonna entertain the guests. I do this really well. Ready? Did you guys think that was funny? Comment down below if you thought it was funny. I'll do it again. It'll be funnier the second time because that's usually how jokes work.
How was your day?
My day was pretty good, pretty average, pretty not much happened.
Cool.
Tuesdays are good because I wake up at like 10, but they're also bad because I have the most boring classes today.
What classes did you have?
Calculus
Yeah.
and life science seminar, which is like 50 minutes of just like them telling us like study tips and stuff.
Oh, the
Yeah.
50-minuters really get you.
Yeah.
It's like, what's the point?
It beats me.
Beats me.
All right, what book did you get?
It'll come in handy later.
Oh, okay.
I just needed it now, so I didn't have to.
So like no spoilers.
No spoilers, yeah. Exactly. We don't have a guest. I feel kind of sad.
Our guest is our wit.
It's MGK. He's our guest. He's coming a bit. He's literally performing at one of the buildings on campus. So
You should go.
I was going to get tickets
Wait,
if they weren't $200.
you should go and vlog it. And then you should go backstage and you should meet him.
Wow, if I could, I would, honestly.
I'll Venmo you.
You'll Venmo me $200 for an MGK ticket. They're probably sold out.
It's an investment.
Actually, I don't know
for
if they would
franchise.
because who's gonna. That's a lot of money for a ticket.
Yeah, but you can write it off on your taxes as a business investment.
That's funny.
So let's jump right in.
Let's just jump in.
Ooh, I'm about to dive in.
I'm gonna do something different this time, where instead of me
I'm on the edge of my seat.
so I can't do things and talk at the same time. Instead of me like having trouble with sharing screen, I'm gonna get it already. That's what I'm doing different.
Wow. Did you like my goblin of the day?
Oh, he's so cute.
You got thick
A little
lips.
pet. Little nose tap.
Mm-hmm.
You guys can't tell, but I'm tapping his nose. Maybe you can hear it. Hey, TGAS season 2, episode 4.
So, Social Network. Was it the first time you watched it?
Yeah, because it's one of those movies that I've never seen that I should have seen. Same with which also Fight Club, which I also haven't seen, and I
Wait,
feel like
I thought we watched that together.
I haven't seen it.
Oh no, I watched it with Graham.
So I have like a list of movies that like I shouldn't have made it to 19 without ever watching, and Social Network was one of them. So I watched it last week.
Yeah, but there are like a lot of movies that you like have to watch. Like kind of like too many.
There are.
I'm like, at what point is it just like all the movies that I have to watch?
Aren't you a film major, film minor?
Not yet.
But you will be?
Maybe.
So you'll eventually have to watch all of them.
I guess so.
I'm so sorry.
Yeah.
Awful.
I really like, I don't want to watch French films because I like really like, I can't do it.
Why? They're so hot.
Yeah, but they're French and that just like bothers me.
Oh, I love the French. That's me with like British movies though, I guess.
Oh my God, British movies.
There's a lot that I like, so I feel like that's unfair. Like a lot of the things I like are British. I just also can't stand the Brits.
I just like, when I'm watching it, it just does not feel real because it's not foreign enough, but it's not like me.
Yeah.
It's just like, it's like the uncanny valley.
Yeah.
It's literally, that's what British people are to me.
I blame Skins and Shakespeare for every problem in my life.
Yeah. Oh my God, Skins.
So bad.
Literally rancid.
Really like, I think it's a joke that people like that show. I'm just gonna.
I know. I think they like it ironically because I can't tell like how am I supposed to enjoy this?
I know.
But anyways, this is like we're like not talking about the Social Network. Anyways.
Yeah, no.
So what did you think?
I loved it. I literally thought it was so good.
Yeah.
I will say this. Everyone gasses Jesse Eisenberg up for his performance. And I thought it was really good. I'm not saying he did a bad job. I'm just saying I think Mark Zuckerberg is impossible to portray. I think he came as close as anyone could have come. But I just also think like that man is not, you can't put that on a screen.
Like you can't capture it. He's like a vampire, but like impressions instead of photographs. You know what I mean? You just can't grasp his energy.
Yeah.
Yeah, basically this movie's great. This movie's fantastic. I thought like I really like the opening scene, like with Rooney Mara.
Yeah.
The dialogue was like so good. I love how it like jumps back and forth so that you can tell that Mark was just like a crazy, not normal human being who's like horrible at reading tones and like social cues. And the line where she says, "You're gonna go through life thinking girls don't like you because you're a nerd. I want you to know from the bottom of my heart that won't be true. It'll be because you're an asshole."
Yeah.
I think they need to teach a lecture on that exact line to every single man who has ever lived, because the truth in that, like, it's so good. Also, the end where Rashida Jones's character is like, "You're not an asshole, you just want to be one." Like, that was so good too. Like, I don't know.
Yeah. Oh, so good. Also, Justin Timberlake's he shocked me. I think I saw his name in the credits and I didn't put it together that he was like going to be in the movie. And they showed him and I was like, Oh my god, I didn't know he acted.
Yeah, he was like really good in this movie. I think because
But I thought he was, yeah.
What?
No, I'm agreeing. I'm trying to like remember the movie and bits and pieces. There, it's all coming back. I really liked his friend. Him.
That guy, yeah.
What's his name?
In the movie.
In the movie, not the actor, the person.
Eduardo.
Yeah. He was my favorite character.
When he smashes the computer, that whole scene.
Yeah. Oh my god. I didn't know that Armie Hammer played Winklevoss 1 and 2.
Yeah.
I
Well,
didn't think that, I don't know, I didn't like compute that was him.
He played like there was actually another actor. His name is like John Pence.
Really? That's not, they didn't Parent Trap it?
No, they did Parent Trap it, but they hired initially this other actor and they said like he would play one of the Winklevosses. So he prepared, like he memorized a bunch of the lines and he like studied the mannerisms of the one of the Winklevosses. I don't know which one, either Tyler or Cameron, I have no idea. But then once he got to set, the director, David Fincher, was like, you're actually just going to be the body double for one of them, and we're going to like put Armie Hammer's face on your face.
Oh my god.
Yeah. But he still gets like credit, and I think he's still like got paid. I don't know if he got paid as much as Armie did, but like he still got paid a good amount, and like he was treated like a lead. Like on set, he was treated like with the same amount of respect as what they treated like Armie and whatever. But I just think that's like so horrible that he thought he was gonna like actually have a face in the movie, and then they put another person's face on his. Yeah, oh, silly.
Was that like the plan the entire time, or were they just like, Armie's so good, we're giving him both parts?
I don't know. I think like maybe there was just miscommunication, or maybe like the director just changed his mind. I don't know, but I think it's kind of funny. But yeah.
Is this like is this like very strictly accurate canon?
There are like a few mistakes. So I watched it on Amazon Prime, and they have like the fun facts in the like left side of the screen.
Did you think about that today?
Yeah, I did. Because I think it's such a good feature. I think that they like kind of popped off with that. But what were we? Oh yeah. But like every scene basically in the like fun fact section, they had like a goofs paragraph where they explain like mistakes or like continuity errors in the movie, and there was like a good amount of them, but for the most part it was accurate. Also, one of the fun facts that I learned from that was that, remember the scene where Mark is like filming his friends going from a zip line?
Yeah.
So initially in the script, Mark was going to join in, and Jesse Eisenberg didn't think that was accurate because he couldn't picture Mark having that much fun.
That's so fun.
Which I just love that fact because it's so true. Look at that man. Oh boy. What was your favorite like scene from the movie?
I really liked a lot of the ones like towards the end, or not towards the end, but like with Sean, what's his name? Sean something. Justin Timberlake's character. I like the one at the club and at the, oh my god, the sushi restaurant with like when they're out to dinner with London Tipton and Eduardo and Mark, and they kept bringing I love that scene when they kept bringing the drinks, and Eduardo was like, just the tension. Oh my god. I just thought like Sean, like it captured Sean's character. So like I was like, I know that person. Like I don't, but I do.
He felt so real.
He did. And I also really like the scene where Eduardo came to the house in Palo Alto.
Yeah. I like when he opens the door and it's like raining and he's like, because it kind of looks like the beginning of a scene in like a rom-com where like the like the scorned lover or like he's like begging for his girlfriend's like forgiveness.
Yeah. I also really loved the Harvard-ness of it all. Yeah. I love like
the Phoenix Club.
Prestigious education messiness.
Yeah.
Like that's got to be one of my favorite genders for sure. I used to like be obsessed with like private school and like the idea of going to private school and like wearing a uniform. And it's like
boarding school. Tanner Hall. Oh my God.
Mm-hmm. Great movie.
The score was so good. Like every time something like sad happened, like that like simple like 3 notes or whatever, so good.
In The Social Network?
Yeah.
I remember that.
So good. But it's kind of funny because they like make you have sympathy for these characters and then they all end up to be billionaires anyways. So it's like, why did I even feel bad for them?
Yeah. I also thought it was funny that because I was like, how did Mark Zuckerberg feel about this? And
he probably had no feelings about it.
No, he was mad. And they were like, really? They like justified it, but they were like, well, we tried to present him as like complex and like in the end, like you root for him. And I'm like, no, you didn't. Right. That's a lot. Like at no point in this movie was I rooting for him. Like that is me when I lie. Like that's just so wrong.
I mean, I think they probably tried their hardest. It's just like literally.
It's just it's not exactly capable.
No.
He's such a
silly. I also liked when London Tipton set the scarf on fire.
Yeah.
That was iconic. Oh, you know what? This reminds me of the time that Facebook almost killed me. Not to like set up like this little story time, but like, strap in. So when I was 5 years old in my old house, my cousin Sarah lived with us, and she's at the time was like in her 20s. Like she's a good amount older than me. And my dad was away on a business trip, which is when all the bad things happen in my family. I don't know why. I guess he's like the glue. But basically, my cousin was convincing my mom to set up a Facebook because Facebook was like this new thing. This is like 2007, I believe. Yeah. And so she was helping my mom set up her Facebook in this room upstairs. And down the hall, my mom was running a bath for my brother, but she forgot about it. Mm-hmm. Because she was wrapped up in this world of Facebook, and the tub overflowed and the whole floor flooded. And so we went downstairs and everything was like dripping and it was really bad. And then I hear, so I'm like in the kitchen, right? 5-year-old me, I hear this like tear above me. And I'm like, what? And then my cousin Sarah like pulls me out of the way. And behind me, the ceiling falls. And like all this like rubble and like
oh my God.
Insulation it's like behind me, like in the kitchen. So I almost died because of Facebook. So
that's insane. What?
Doesn't that just like tell you all you need to know about the terrors of social media?
Yeah, that
right. It can literally kill you.
So true.
Yeah. And I honestly think that they should have put that in the movie. Like, I don't know why I wasn't interviewed for this. But yeah, that's The Social Network. How many stars?
out of
whatever you want.
Nine out of 10.
Okay. What would give it a 10 out of 10?
Nothing would give it a 10 out of 10. It just isn't.
Okay. I also give it a 9 out of 10. I think what could have pushed it over the edge was a good old murderous lake scene, but whatever. Although there was this scene in the Thames or whatever of the rowing, but not quite what I wanted.
Oh, I did like the rowing.
Do you think Armie Hammer is a cannibal? What are your thoughts on that?
Yeah. I mean,
Do you think he ate his twin?
No. Did he have a twin? What twin?
In the movie he did. Do you think they were trying to cover it up when they made up that whole story about the other actor that was the body double?
No. I don't think so. I don't know if he's like a cannibal. I had a really long conversation about this last year.
Mm-hmm.
And I think the conclusion was that like cannibalism, just to remember, it was like cannibalism exists on a spectrum, and
right.
At the far end is
Jeffrey Dahmer,
like actually consuming people for like dead, like killing them and eating them, or eating them to kill them. But that doesn't mean that what exists on another end is not also cannibalism.
Okay.
Oh my god, wait. I'm
moving on.
I'm going in the archives because I have so many things to say about this, and they're not coming to the forefront. Wasn't his deal that it was like it was like a sexual thing for him. It was a fetish.
Correct.
He would eat people, like eat parts of people.
Yeah, but I don't think he ever actually did.
Okay, why not?
I think it was just like a fantasy that he had, but I don't think he actually would. I think that he's just like silly.
I don't like that that's a fantasy he had.
You don't?
I don't. No, I'm not a fan of that, actually.
You don't stan it?
I don't think I
You're not a fantasy of that?
Moving on. Oh my God. Anyways.
Yeah, so basically
I don't know what any of this is. I was informed about this like 10 minutes ago, so take it away.
So unfortunately, Machine Gun Kelly has accomplished the impossible and has made Megan Fox less likable to me. Basically, they need to stop. I'm honestly scared for when they break up, like what kind of turmoil that is going to cause in the fabric of the universe, because this is not okay. This is not okay. And I'm putting my foot down because this article came out about them, like it was an interview, and she said that on the night that they met, she looked up at him and said, "You smell like weed." He looked down at me and he was like, "I am weed." Then I swear to God, he disappeared like a ninja in a smoke bomb. Which is not okay. Like, I'm not okay with this personally. Like, I'm like not doing well after reading that. Like, why did he say that? Why is this straight out of like a Wattpad? Like, that cannot be real. He cannot say that. Like, this is not okay. Like, I need a formal apology. But then
this quote, which she had to correct it. Oh my.
MGK has his own demons too. He's got post-traumatic stress, which he charmingly accidentally calls postpartum depression. Before Fox corrects him. No.
Babe, no.
No.
Do something else. Oh my God.
How did you do that? How can you?
How
can you have this thing and call it postpartum depression?
I also want to know what was charming about the way he said it.
I don't know.
Like, I'm dying to like.
Because I know, like, I've seen enough interviews with this man. I know exactly how he said it, and I can tell you it was not charming. Like, I just know he... I can't do it. Like, I can't. Like, I can't see her do this. Like, it's honestly, it feels like a betrayal. But anyways, Megan Fox's love may be transforming Colson Baker into his highest self, but it hasn't changed Machine Gun Kelly. I'm still a motherfucking outlaw. This man is from Cleveland. Ay. Yeah, that's honestly all I have to say about that, because I like can't talk about it. It troubles me.
That is like deeply upsetting.
It's deeply upsetting. I don't think that this should have...
Deeply upsetting.
This should not have happened. This wasn't supposed to happen.
There's something very wrong.
There is something
in the universe.
No, yeah, there's something off.
That led, like, I just, wow.
Yeah. I think she's like under a spell or something, because like I honestly don't understand it. But whatever. It's just like he and Pete Davidson are two people that like people thirst over a lot, but they're like not intelligent, and they just like rope women into their circles and make those women less intelligent as well.
Mm-hmm.
That's my thought on it. And I think we need to stop settling for these men.
Yeah.
Radical thought. I think a man needs to pass an IQ test to date women who are as attractive as Megan Fox and or Ariana Grande. Because I can't take the people that these women become. I'm not going to stand for it any longer. I'm putting my foot down. Okay, anyways, moving on.
Is that me?
That's you.
Oh my God.
That was from junior year or something.
Oh, that was like kiddie year.
Yeah.
Whatever we called that.
What are you talking about?
Kitty?
Like Hello Kitty.
Yeah, but we like called that onesie or whatever that thing is kitty.
Did we?
Yeah, we were.
It's honestly all a blur to me.
It is all a blur. Like this, I might be combining like 6 different events right now, so excuse me. But anyways, yeah, physics is cool. That's me over there winning.
And that's me
winning brand. That's the pleb losers. But I like physics a lot because one time in junior year, in the days of old, like MGK, loved to partake in smoking weed, and not smoking actually, because I had my little street cart, and it was found on the street. And one night after.
Wait, do you remember when there was like M&M crystals?
Yeah, I do. Yeah.
That was fun.
Sure. I got home from track, showered, did some homie work, ate some dinner, and then hit my streetcar as I did every night and went on to YouTube, and there was this video called What is Quantum Physics? And I was like, I don't know what quantum physics is. I'm gonna watch this. And it was called something the AI, and he's a talking computer who explains concepts to you for dummies. And I remember just like being like blown away. I was like, no way, this isn't real. Like, this does not exist. And like the rest has honestly been history. It had been a rabbit hole from there where I would just like watch those videos every night. And then fast forward a little bit, I bought this book.
Oh, that's the book.
Which I'm just gonna say, I'm gonna expose myself right now. I'm gonna be frank with everybody. I'm on page 75 and I've been reading it since last fall. Not consistently.
Honestly, like books, I'm not even kidding. It is so hard to finish a book.
Yeah. Like I'll read it like this in like chunks where I sit down and read like a lot, but it's like once every few months. Yeah. And this book really gets to the heart of all the things that I find the most interesting about physics, which is quantum physics and Einsteinian Hey Lizzie. Like gravitational stuff and string theory, which I'll dive into. I'm also taking a physics class, RN, which covers like all of this. Like it starts with classical and then like goes through everything to get here. Like then it goes to like electromagnetism and like light, which bring you into like Einstein's work and like modern stuff with quantum. And that's really cool. It's like purely conceptual. Like every equation that we use she gives it to us. We don't need a calculator. But yeah, okay, I guess what I can talk about is string theory. And I have a doc on my phone that I made a while ago that I just like found because I didn't write anything here. And so basically, string theory is a potential possible theory that combines quantum mechanics and special and general relativity, because they are not compatible. They are in the sense that their math is both correct for them, like for the respective fields. And the thing is, quantum mechanics is about what is really, really small, like subatomic stuff. And then relativity is really, really big stuff. And so normally they were kind of just like able to coexist because they were on opposite sides of like the spectrum of what they cover. But there are a lot of things that deal with both. Like the Big Bang Theory went from really small to really big, and like a black hole kind of does the opposite where it collapses things. So they're finding problems and situations that deal with really small and really big, in which the two theories do not work together. And string theory is a potential theory of everything, which is sort of like the goal right now. Like Einstein's whole thing was trying to come up with a theory of everything and did not do that. And the theory of everything would just describe everything in the universe and would just unite all of physics under one theory or one like equation.
That is a tall task.
It is. They think string theory could do it. The problem with string theory is that it only exists, or it's only accurate with 11 dimensions, and we can only observe 3. And like we know what the 4th dimension is, but we can't see it because it's not spatial, and we're 3-dimensional beings. And so string theory is kind of still like hypothetical because it requires 11 dimensions for the math to be correct.
Do we know for a fact that there are 11 dimensions?
I'm gonna look that up because I've always, you look up how many dimensions are there, they'll tell you 11. But also some say that there's like far more than 11.
That bothers me so much.
And at the same time, we only really are comfortable with like 4. It's actually so cool. Like I read a thing about like that described what each of the 11 dimensions are. And I'm going to find it because it's so interesting. But as I'm finding that, I guess I'll talk a little bit about each one. So quantum mechanics is my favorite, and it deals with, like I said, like very, very small things, like subatomic stuff, electrons primarily. And these really small things do not behave the way normal things behave. They don't follow typical laws of motion for things that we can observe. Because once you get that small, it just like classical physics does not apply anymore. And that's okay. I'm gonna try and like remember this because it's been a minute since I've done quantum-y stuff. But basically, like the big one second. So sorry.
I heard Neil deGrasse Tyson say that electrons exist everywhere and nowhere at the same time. Like we think of electrons as orbiting around the nucleus, but it's actually not true.
Well, okay. The thing about like quantum stuff is that it's all about probability and probability of where things are, which is cool. For light, for example, for photons, like the double slit experiment where they had like 2 slits and they shined a light through it and then marked where the light landed, and it formed an interference pattern, which means that it behaves like a wave. Because so like the light hit each other and formed a pattern on the wall that wasn't like the way that when waves hit each other, they create an interference pattern where the crests add and like the trough subtract, and if they're in different spots, they cancel out. And so this experiment where they shine 2 laser beams or a laser beam through 2 slits in something, and it created an interference pattern on the wall, means that light behaves like a wave. But when they observed an individual photon, it wasn't an interference pattern anymore. It was just like, I'm gonna try and like show this. It was just like 2 lines, the way that a particle would appear. So when they weren't watching, it behaved like a wave. And when they were watching, light behaved like a particle, which is I think it's like the observer effect, which is where if you observe something, it physically changes its properties.
Oh, that's so weird.
I know. And another thing about like the double slit experiment is this might be the Heisenberg uncertainty principle. I'm going to look what that is really quick, but it is like when it behaves like a wave, it like the pattern it forms on the wall, the interference pattern is a probability of where it's going to land. Like it's so the part that had the most like concentrated, I'm just gonna show you a picture really quick because this is hard for me to explain in words. So this is the screen with 2 slits. This is how it shows up when it's behaving like a particle. Whereas in this sense, it's behaving like a wave. And that is this is what you're using is the interference pattern. And there's just like, it's not certain that it's going to create this pattern. There's just a high probability. Like it's like 75% chance it will land here. 25, it will land here. Like 10, it will land here. Really low chances that it could be here, but it's not zero. Like it could. It's not a fact that it's going to create this. It's just highly probable that it is going to follow this pattern, which is really cool. And the Heisenberg uncertainty principle states that you cannot, for like a particle, like light, because it behaves both like a wave and like a particle, you cannot determine the velocity and the position at the same time, which explains the observer effect. Because if you were to determine its position, you would not be able to know its velocity, because velocity requires it to be moving. And if it's moving, its position is changing. And so that applies to something like light that acts as both a wave and a particle, which is really cool. And the other like big thing about like quantum stuff, not the other thing, big thing, but like one of is like superposition. Which I'm just getting right back into it.
Superposition. I'm gonna sing a song about superposition.
Okay, so we know Schrodinger's cat.
I am familiar with those words.
So that's that. Oops.
Schrodinger is 2048.
2048, which is like it's a thought experiment, which is like you put a cat in a box.
I'm a thought experiment.
I'm a thought experiment. And there might be poison in the box or not, and you don't know. And so before you like check on the cat, it is both dead and alive, which isn't like, I was always really confused by that, because I was like, no, it's dead or alive, even if you don't know. But then I thought they literally meant that it applies to the cat, but it doesn't. It applies to quantum particles, where that actually is the case, where, for example, like spin. So there's two electrons. If they're entwined, they stay, or entangled, sorry, entanglement. If they become entangled with each other, they remain entangled with each other regardless of where they are in the universe. And
whoa, that's like twin flames.
And so they spin. They experience spin, which is either rotating upwards or rotating that way. And if you take two entangled electrons, one is always rotating one way and one is always rotating the other way. But until you can observe it, they are both rotating both directions. And that's not like hypothetical, like philosophical, like that's a fact that they're both rotating in both directions. And then the instant that you observe one spin, the other one automatically starts spinning the other way, which is like what
so upsetting
about. I know. And it's just
this is me when I'm trying not to observe the
trying to sneak up on it. I feel like I could though. I feel like I'm different. Like, I don't know.
I feel like if it doesn't know that I'm observing it, like what if I'm just like sly about it? What if
Yeah.
I'm like, what if I'm like
Yeah, what if I wear sunglasses and I like look that way, but I'm but I'm actually like eyeing it. Like side eyeing. I'm like a good enough like cheater that I feel like I could do it.
what if I'm like, can you tell if my eyes are open?
Oh my god. Or maybe like if I just ask nicely, like it'll tell me what it's doing.
Maybe it'll tell me without me having to look at it, so it doesn't actually change.
See, I genuinely think like I can do these things, which is why I'm like I'll come up with a theory of everything because I'm built different and I'll literally just like observe an
No,
electron.
like I honestly believe in you, and like I think you could do it.
Like I could, like it can't be that hard.
No, like honestly, like
It
woman
really
in
can't.
Janet.
It really can't. I don't know, like I'm delusional. So that's superposition, which is like if you think of things being superimposed, it's like one on top of the other. So it's like
Right.
both things are happening at once. And quantum physics is just cool because it's so not how we think about things. And it's really difficult to like try to be like, oh, well, that's not how this table moves. So nothing can do that. But also going back to like the probability thing, like what something that's really cool is like electrons as they're orbiting the nucleus, like we think that we know like exactly their orbital paths, or we thought we did, but you don't. You just have a that again, it's like there's a probable location of them. So it's like that's not where they are. That's just probability says that they're here, like located like that. And again, that's because like if you can't know their velocity and their position. So instead of electrons just orbiting the nucleus, they're just sort of like assumed places where they are, but you can't actually like pinpoint where they are, which is cool. Oh, so cool. And then, okay, so on the other hand of quantum is relativity, which is fun. And there's special and there's general. Special relativity is just about like light, sort of, and the constancy of light, which is that light travels at a constant speed, which nothing else does in the universe because like okay, so you're on the train platform and someone's on the train's moving 20 meters per second, you're still. Someone on the train throws a ball at 10 meters per second. That ball to you is moving at 30 meters per second, but to the person throwing it, it's at 10 meters per second. Because like relativity. Because to the person on the train is still from their frame of reference. So if you're throwing a ball in a train, you're going to say that ball just moved 10 meters per second. But if you're watching someone on a moving train throw a ball, you add the train's velocity and the ball's velocity. Cool thing is, if the ball was replaced with a beam of light, you would measure the same velocity.
Right.
And this was really puzzling because that's not true of anything but light, which allowed them to develop that light is constant and light moves at the speed of light, regardless of the observer and the observer's frame of reference. And that caused a lot of problems because like that's just not how other objects have operated. And
what about sound?
No.
So sound doesn't move at a constant speed. But like if you were on a train and you were like yelling.
Yeah.
I like literally don't even know how to like contextualize this, but like Does sound move differently depending on if you were on the train or not? Okay.
Yeah. And so what's cool about this is, so the equation for velocity is distance divided by time. Distance times time. Ignore that. Like meters. Oh no, divided by.
No, it's divided.
Oh, sorry. So sorry.
Change in distance.
I apologize, everybody. And so if speed is constant and distance increases, then time must increase. So normally, go back to the ball scenario. No. Yeah, go back to the okay, go back to the ball scenario. I'm like writing this with my hands right now. So speed is 10 meters per second for the person throwing the ball, and say that's 20/2 versus 30 meters per second, which is because the distance is increasing because you are farther away from the ball than the person throwing it. But when speed is the same and the distance is still increasing, then the time must be decreasing. Which is really weird because that shouldn't happen. Like, that's not for speed to be constant, and given that distance is increasing, time must be decreasing. And that kind of led to the idea of space-time, in that space and time are not two separate dimensions or two separate things, but they are like totally dependent on each other. And
that's fucked up.
It's so fucked up. And they are like like they're not like these like abstract concepts, like they're a physical thing, like almost like space-time is almost like a substance, which is why I always get like bothered when people are like time isn't real. So
I know, I hate when people say
it's so real.
It is real, and it's also observable, and like
it's sure, we have arbitrary ways of measuring it, but time itself is a very real thing. Space-time. And so basically special relativity is that the speed of light is constant in all scenarios, and as things approach the speed of light, which are relativistic speeds, time slows down for them. So it's like, this is something that has been like tested and observed, like it's proven. It's just it only applies to things that are moving so fast that you can't observe it. For example, on an airplane, if you were to measure like the amount of time it takes to travel a certain distance versus compared to someone on Earth watching it, there would be differences, but they're so small that they're like millisecond, that it's not something that you can observe.
Weird.
But yeah, that's like time dilation, which is
that's so silly.
And there's an excerpt from this book that is so cool that I literally pulled it out because I want to read it. Oh my god, it's so like, I read this and I literally like double took.
Okay.
Find it. I thought I bookmarked it.
Ella's finding a page in a book.
I hope this is making sense.
What?
I hope this is making sense.
It's making sense, but also in a way that I hate, because it's like also not making sense.
It's like so stupid.
Because it's like so crazy and
like why?
I'm gonna be really mad if I like die and then like that's just the end and like I don't get any answers.
I feel like they're gonna like come up with something that's like also I think a lot of the difficulty in like understanding it is just that we are three-dimensional
That
and
like makes me really mad.
time is the fourth dimension,
Right.
and it's like because space-time, and so you like a lot of times described as like a fabric sort of, which is
Right.
two-dimensional, and it's like okay, I can wrap my head around that, but it's four-dimensional IRL, so what the fuck. But anyways, okay, sorry, I'm just so excited. Okay. When an object moves through space relative to us, its clock slows down compared to ours. That is, the speed of its motion through time slows down. Here's the leap. Einstein proclaimed that all objects in the universe are always traveling through space-time at one fixed speed, that of light. This is a strange idea. We are used to the notion that objects travel at speeds considerably less than that of light. We have repeatedly emphasized this as the reason relativistic effects are so unfamiliar in the everyday world. All of this is true. We are presently talking about an object's combined speed through all four dimensions, through space and one time, and it is the object's speed in this general sense that is equal to that of light. To understand this more fully and to reveal its importance, we note that like the impractical single-speed car discussed above, this one fixed speed can be shared between the dimensions, different space and time dimensions, that is. If an object is sitting still relative to us and consequently does not move through space at all, then in analogy to the first runs of the car, all of the object's motion is used to travel through one dimension, in this case, the time dimension. Moreover, all objects that are at rest relative to us and to each other move through time, they age at exactly the same rate or speed. If an object does move through space, however, this means that some of the previous motion through time must be diverted. Like the car traveling at an angle, the sharing of motion implies that the object will travel more slowly through time than its stationary counterparts, since some of its motion is now being used to move through space. That is, its clock will tick more slowly if it moves through space. This is exactly what we found earlier. We now see that time slows down when an object moves relative to us because this diverts some of its motion through time into motion through space. The speed of an object through space is thus merely a reflection of how much of its motion through time is diverted. We also see that this framework immediately incorporates the fact that there is a limit to an object's spatial velocity. The maximum speed through space occurs if all of an object's motion through time is diverted to motion through space. This occurs when all of its previous light speed motion through time is diverted to light speed motion through space. But having used up all of its motion through time, this is the fastest speed through space that any object could possibly achieve. This is analogous to our car being test driven directly in the north-south direction. Just as the car will have no speed left for motion in the east-west dimension, something traveling at light speed through space will have no speed left for motion through time. Thus, light does not get old. A photon that emerged from the Big Bang is the same age today as it was then. Oh, there is no passage of time at light speed.
No, shut up.
I know. Isn't that like fucked up?
I'm literally mad. Okay, so you're telling me if I just keep running, I'm never gonna age.
Well, you're not running fast enough. So
well, no. I'll find a way.
If you can move at the speed of light, then you're good.
Oh, because I remember I was watching like a Doctor Who special with like commentary or something, and they said that time travel could exist if you could move faster than light.
Yeah.
So that makes sense.
It's like
how it's all connected.
Light. So if there's a graph like this,
right,
like an axis, and it's like time, space.
Light is the z-axis.
Yeah, so like other objects have to travel through both, whereas time only travels through motion. Light only travels through motion and doesn't travel through time. So all of its potential, I guess, like speed none of it has to be diverted.
That's sus.
Right? Light is so weird. Ugh.
Light is really weird. I never think about it.
Also, like the speed of light, electromagnetism, which I hate. Like is like it describes how the speed of light exists, because an electromagnetic wave is a light wave.
Shut up.
An electromagnetic field is formed from a changing electric, like a changing, so I forgot, changing like electric and field creates a magnetic field and vice versa. And somehow when the two have a baby, it creates an electromagnetic field. And that creates like a light wave. But light also is a wave and a particle.
That is stupid.
Don't forget it. It isn't. It behaves like a wave and a particle.
That's so stupid.
So.
And also it's as old as the Big Bang or something, and like it doesn't age, and like it just moves through space. It doesn't move through time, and it.
Yeah, because it's so fast.
That is stupid.
Yeah, but if it's also, you know, it's gotta exist.
So true. I'm just like looking all around and I'm like, everything is light that I'm looking at.
Yeah.
And that means I hate it. Do you know about string theory? Like, have you learned about that?
We're not doing it in class. It's kind of like not something that's like people want, I don't know, because it's still being developed, but it's basically that everything is made of strings. And instead of like things being made of point-like particles, they are made of these one-dimensional strings that are constantly vibrating. And
but doesn't it also have to do with like all the dimensions like going on at once or something?
Yeah.
Okay. Because you should watch Vivarium, which is also starring Jesse Eisenberg.
I have heard about that one.
I probably told you about it. Because at the end there's like a string theory part, and it's really cool.
String theory is really cool. I'll see what this book has to say about it.
What is the book called?
It's The Elegant Universe. It's really good if you want to like understand things linguistically and not mathematically, because I
hate math.
It literally just like wouldn't be able to, like if I saw equations, like I would not be able to. Actually, that's a lie. I actually think if the math would make it all make a lot more sense. I just think it would be so much unnecessary time to learn it. But yeah, it's a great book. So good. I want to look more into string theory.
String theory, the theory is string.
String.
And everything is string. And it's the one dimension. But we are 3 dimensions. But there's 11 dimensions. And we can't see those dimensions. But we are all straying. But so for some reason, if we're all straying, those straying is only 1 dimension. But then how does it make something that's a 3 dimension? We don't know because the string.
Oh, you know what's so cool? The manifold. I also really I love topology, which is like shapes. That's really cool. Like it's just like a math that it's a branch of math that shapes it's okay, the Calabi-Yau manifold, sorry, is
Excuse me.
Oh, it's so cool. It is all of the it has all of the 11 dimensions. You want to see it? That's our 11. That's the 11 dimensions. So isn't she pretty? So that's so cool. Calabi-Yau manifold.
That looks like something in a McDonald's play. Yeah.
Has particular properties such as Ricci flatness, yielding applications in theory, particularly in superstring theory. They can supersize string theory. Ricci flatness. The extra dimensions of spacetime are sometimes conjectured to take the form of a 6-dimensional Calabi-Yau manifold, which has the idea of mirror symmetry.
Ricci flatness on a beat.
Oh my god, we have literally been talking for so long.
Oh my god.
Wait, I need to find this thing that explains all 11 dimensions. Oh my god. They're like they literally pulled the descriptions of the dimensions like right out of their ass.
The 11th dimension is
1,
love.
A line. 2, height and width. 3, height, width, and depth. 4, time.
This is where I'm gonna get mad.
This is where you start laughing. Dimension 5, a world similar to ours. It has the same beginning as our planet. That is, it stems from the Big Bang, but there are noticeable differences between this world and the other. Our different selves make different decisions that result in branching futures. It is a plane of probability. 6, a plane of new worlds allowing us to see all possible futures, presents, and pasts. Like, it's getting like fantastical.
It's giving Doctor Strange.
It's getting like Gooby, like goblin, like.
It's giving J.K. Rowling wrote this on a napkin. And
Dimension 7, they get better. Beyond this point, new universes may contain new forces of nature and different laws.
Shut up.
Their speed of light differs from ours. Universes here were not created by the Big Bang. Dimension 8, all pasts and futures of each universe are showcased. This dimension may stretch infinitely. 9, 10, and 11. All laws of physics
gagging.
are even laws that do not apply to our world and which would be entirely foreign to us. Scientists do not believe there can be more than 11 dimensions because conditions become unstable and particles naturally collapse back down into 10 or 11 dimensions. The 12th dimension, for example, introduces a second time. While strings can only vibrate in 10 dimensions, membranes can exist at 11 dimensions. It is possible that our universe is one such membrane.
Wait, run that back. Strings, some can vibrate.
While strings can only vibrate in 10 dimensions, membranes can exist at 11 dimensions. It is possible that our universe is one such membrane. It is at this point that everything comes together in one dramatic orchestral display. Everything and anything that is possible resides within the 11 dimensions. Every physical law, every world, every beginning and end, an infinity of universes ornamenting the multiverse.
This is just like a poem, I think.
I literally think it is.
I think Walt Whitman wrote that. I can't believe it to be true.
so funny. Like they just start saying things. At a certain point, they realize like no one's checking them, and they just start saying things.
They're like, yeah, this shit gonna bang.
Yeah, they're gonna eat this up.
That is the result of drugs.
No, it is. It is like
someone was like typing it, and then their friend in the corner was like, yo, put this in. And they were like, you're crazy. And then they did. Yo, also, it'd be funny if you talked about a membrane that could vibrate and
yes, membrane. What itches me to my core is that math proved all, like math came first and gave us these ideas. But they might have made that up too.
You know what came first? God.
Do you actually know that God is compatible with string theory? God is. No, I'm lying. I'm just. See how easy it is. God is actually the sum of all 11 dimensions.
God is the being that is made of the membranes that are actually cells.
The membrane in string theory actually proves the existence of God.
So God's eyeball is blue, and that's why the sky is blue, and his eyelashes are the strings, and they vibrate and also light. The end.
I just like, I think that they should make AI that are like 4-dimensional. I'm like anti-AI, but sometimes I'm pro-AI.
Okay, Grimes.
We should just become, like, evolve. Why can't, like, I feel like that's our path. Because are we just gonna, are we just gonna be like this forever?
I don't know. I'm like actually like I'm gonna be so mad if I die and like there's nothing after that and I can't like learn all the mysteries of the universe.
Well, I think they're gonna come up with a lot more stuff and come.
I know, but they're not gonna know the answer to everything.
They're never gonna do that. Well, never say never. I will never say. What? Come again?
No, I mean like if there's no like afterlife where I can get all the answers. Like what if we die and then we become a 4th-dimensional creature? But like what if that doesn't happen? I'm gonna be really upset.
Oh, like you die and then they're like, let me tell you a secret. This is the membrane. Yeah. And they show you the membrane. That would be awesome.
Oh, literally.
I really hope that happens.
Me too. But like what if I die and then it's just nothing?
That would suck.
I know
hope that doesn't happen.
Me too. But I wouldn't even notice.
Yeah, but I'm still mad.
I know.
I'm still mad. I'm mad in advance if that happens.
So I think that talking about our mortality is a good way to end the episode.
I agree. Maybe never. I'm done joking.
No, you gotta say it though.
I was gonna say maybe. Oh, do you want to know something really cool before we go?
Yeah.
One more thing. Okay, so you know how we can't see dimensions past 4 or past 3?
Allegedly.
So if you were, say, 2-dimensional and you lived on a piece of paper and you couldn't see the 3rd dimension, but a 3-dimensional object like a sphere passed through your dimension, you'd see a circle getting bigger and getting smaller. Like, that's cool to think about. Like, if there's things like that we see.
That is so silly.
I see the membrane.
I'm in the membrane.
We're in the mainframe.
So basically, I didn't have anything to say. Thank you for this educational talk.
Yeah, I feel like I made everything far more confusing. That's usually how it goes.
You did.
Cool.
Okay. You were a great teacher. I thoroughly enjoyed it, but also I hated it because I'm mad.
I'm gonna go watch a bunch of videos now.
All right. See you next week.
Well, probably on Sunday. Maybe.
Yeah. True. Yeah.
If I can.
Yeah. It might actually make more sense to do it. We'll text about this. Anyways. Bye, guys.
Bye, everybody.